Hello to families. This week in Community Chat, we are speaking with mortgage expert Grover Greer. Yes, Grover does traditional home mortgage loans and does them very well, but Grover is constantly working at new and creative ways to advise families of how they can grow long-term wealth through investment property ownership. Grover is here to tell us about his journey, what it's like to be a client of his, and a training tidbit for the community. This one is really great, and I'm certainly interested. It's about how your children can actually make money in college by renting to friends. So I'm so happy to have you here, Grover. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, fantastic. And we can learn so much from you. You have a wealth of knowledge and you're very big on education. And so, what I would love to do is just start with your journey. How did you even get here to becoming a mortgage expert that I rely on? And we'd love to hear just those steps that took to get you to this point.
Cool. I mean, it's kind of a crazy journey. I never thought, when I was in school or anything, that I would be a mortgage guy or a banker, so to speak. You know what I mean? But here we are. I thought I'd be a pro wrestler. I came out of high school and went to college and just didn't really have any focus or anything like that. I ended up bartending for quite a while. My first son came along, and I had a friend that told me, "Hey, I think you'd be really good at this." And his mom is a longtime mortgage. She's retired now, but she did mortgages forever. And basically, it was calling on lending tree leads. So for the first few years of my career, from 2005 to about 2008 or nine, I was calling lending tree leads. Banks compete, you win. Didn't know what I was doing, but at the time, mortgages were so crazy, you didn't have to know what you were doing. My goal, my job was to get people to say yes. At about 2008 or 2009, the whole market crashed, as everybody knows. And I decided, look, I want to make a sustainable business of this. So I want to go buy referral only. So I got to work on educating myself on how these work, how to navigate them, how to consult people, how to teach people to get in for minimal down payment or how to maximize their investment. And about 2014, I decided to start growing a great team, and that's where we kind of brings us to the day. Fast forward 10 years, and the team is dialed in, and we're taking great care of people. So it's kind of a weird story of just like almost being in the right place at the right time and ending up where we're at.
Well, I think that's fantastic just to learn more about you and the backstory because the next question leads into this, which is what is it like to be a client of yours? All things even, there are tons of mortgage brokers out there. But how do you stand out? How does your background and the way that you conduct yourself lend to a different experience that people aren't going to get anywhere else?
Yeah, there's a few ways I hope our clients feel, and I feel like they feel the feedback I get. I think you said it up front a lot. We like to educate a lot. You know what I mean? We start at the very beginning. Whether you've done this one time or 100 times, I like to have a professional consult. And in that consult, we're talking about your goals, what you're looking at. I'm not just spitting numbers out at you that you shoot numbers into a computer, we give something back because those numbers are really irrelevant. I want to talk to people about and have them be heard on what they're looking to do, then educate them on the process, different ideas, different ways to go about it. And within the process, I know that they feel cared for because we have a full team catering to them, a full team making sure we communicate to them. We cross the T's, dot the I's, make sure everything closes on time. We take great care in our estimates and different things like that to make sure there's no surprises from beginning to end. You know where everything's coming and everything's coming at you, and you're being talked to throughout the entire process. Moving is stressful enough as it is. We don't need to add on to that stress by being silent or not telling you exactly where you're at. Our goal, by the time, if you're doing your first mortgage with us, by the time we're done, we want you to be a semi-expert so that on your next mortgage, you kind of know how to go through it and what you're doing.
Well, I think that's perfect. And this leads to the training tidbit, which I'm always trying to get information from you about how this is done. So obviously you do primary residence, but what's unique about you is you're always finding creative ways that you can get people to those secondary residents that can earn an income. So what I'd love for you to do is just give us the one-on-one is what is that basic information about a mortgage? How does the process even work? What goes behind the scenes? And then second to that, if you can share a really great training tip that you gave me privately, but I want to share to everyone else, which is how our college students can actually make money in college versus spend it all, which was my scenario. So if you don't mind sharing two training tidbits, I think that would be phenomenal for everyone to learn.
Yeah, so I mean, the process can be very simple. You get an application going, but in that application, there's a lot of data. And again, you want to talk about what your goals really are, right? A lot of people don't understand loopholes or ways you can build wealth through real estate, or even build a real estate portfolio with minimum amount of pocket. So in the basic process, that's the stuff we're talking about. Like, what are we thinking with this home? Like, are you going to be here till the day you die, or is this a starter home, or what are you actually looking to do? I think one of the biggest misnomers out there is that you need all this money to buy all these properties, and that's not true. I always talk to people like, hey, we can build wealth through real estate. Over two-thirds of wealth in the wealthiest people in America typically come from real estate, right? So this is an investment that's going to be bigger than most people's 401k, most of their stock accounts, all those different things. But then what if we could leverage those properties into buying other properties? And that leads me to kind of what you're talking about with the college student. I talked to the parents and I talked to the student. The student's 18 and he's a freshman at CSU. So what we did is we put a plan together where we did an FHA loan and the parents co-signed. In the FHA loan, it's 3.5% down. We got the seller to pay closing costs and the seller to pay the first 3 months payments. So on March 1st, we closed this student down on a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house in a great part of Fort Collins, right? We got the seller to pay the first 3 payments, so he won't have a payment until August 1st. Well, August 1st is when the lease is signed by his friends to rent out the other 3 rooms besides him. So he'll get $3,000 a month rent towards a mortgage for the next 3 to 4 years while he finishes college. When he finishes college, we discussed the fact that, look, usually coming out of college, you're not going to have enough income to pay this mortgage on your own. So you're going to have 3 options when it comes to that, right? Number one, you can keep roommates, right? You can keep renting rooms. Not crazy for a 21, 22-year-old kid, 23-year-old kid to rent rooms to their friends, right? Typically not settling down yet. Number two, you can move out and rent it to a family, which is where I believe the student is leaning, is he's talking about moving out. We're going to pull equity out through a home equity line of credit or a cash out refinance. And then he's going to buy another property as a primary residence for only 5% down, because we use the 3.5% FHA on this one. And he's going to house hack it. He'll turn it into a full-time investment property and have a rental. Of course, the third that we discussed is, look, you'll be over the 2 years. You'll not have capital gains on the property, so you can always sell the property, take the equity that you built in the 3 to 5 years that you're renting it out to your friends, take that equity and buy a more affordable property that kind of lines up with your income now that you're out of college and on your own. So those are the ideas that we're doing. But I think it just shows the ideas that we kind of come up with all clients when we talk to them. Like, hey, what is your true goal? Like, do you understand that if you're leaving a property, we can get a lease to offset that property, and we can pull the equity out through a home equity line or something like that to put down on a new home. If you don't mind moving, it's a great way to build a real estate portfolio with minimum amount of pocket.
Well, I think that's fantastic. Those are 2 great training tidbits, and there's so much more information that we can learn from you. What is the best way that we can follow you, learn more information that you're sharing? And obviously, you learn every day. This is what you like doing, coming up with new creative ways and ideas. And guess what? You're relatable and credible because you are dealing it with yourself. You have a college-age student, but you also have 2 very, very young children. So a lot of people can identify that you have those 2 diverse stages of life with your kids.
Yeah.
And you're always trying to figure out different things that families can do to have long-term wealth. I think that's fantastic. And I'm sure we want to learn more. So where can we go to learn more information?
You can always go to my website, which is grovergreer.com. I'm on Facebook as well. There's not many Grover Greers out there, so if you search, you'll find my personal page. I'll be in an Elvis outfit with my oldest son, and then you'll find my business page. You'll find me in a suit. So you can get a hold of me on Facebook. My cell phone number is always available for anybody that wants to chat about their situation. It's 303-809-5883, or you can email me at grover@fairwaymc.com.
Fantastic. And I'll include all that information in the show notes, just in case someone wasn't able to take that down. Thank you so much, Grover. I appreciate you. You are truly the expert that I would go to. And I thank you for sharing this information.
No, thanks for the time. It was great to talk to you today.
Thanks.